Hello, my dears. Come in, sit down, and let's talk about life. I've brewed some tea, and I've been thinking about the lessons I've picked up over the years. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that life doesn't come with a manual. Oh, how I wish it did. But while we may not get an instruction book, we do have the chance to learn from those who've walked the path before us. So today, I want to share with you what I call the 10 rules of life. Now, don't think of these as strict rules that box you in. Life is too wild and wonderful for that. Instead, these are guiding principles gleaned from years of successes, mistakes, and everything in between. Rule number 1. Always be kind. When I was a young girl, I remember my mother telling me, "Suzie, kindness costs nothing, but it's worth everything." I didn't fully understand what she meant until I got older. One winter, I was in the grocery store with my little ones. Money was tight, and I was counting every penny to make sure I could buy what we needed. In the checkout line, a woman ahead of me was struggling to pay for her groceries. Without thinking, I handed over a few dollars to help her out. She burst into tears, thanking me as if I'd given her a fortune. Years later, when times were tough for me, someone returned that kindness in ways I never expected. You see, kindness creates ripples. You never know whose life you'll touch or how it might come back to you. So be kind always. Rule number 2. Stay true to yourself. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time trying to be what others wanted me to be. I wore the clothes I thought people would like, said what I thought they wanted to hear, and made choices to fit in. But it never felt quite right. It wasn't until my 30s that I realized the most important voice to listen to is my own. I started wearing what made me feel confident, speaking my truth, and living in a way that felt authentic. And do you know what happened? The right people came into my life, people who loved the real me. My advice? Don't waste your energy trying to please everyone. Life is too short for that. Be you unapologetically. Rule number 3. Embrace change. Life is full of twists and turns, isn't it? I've seen seasons of abundance and seasons of scarcity, times of great joy and times of deep sorrow. The only constant in life is change, and the sooner you learn to embrace it, the easier it becomes. When Tom and I moved to a new town with our young children, I was terrified. I missed my friends and the comfort of familiarity, but that move brought new opportunities, new friends, and lessons I never would have learned if I'd stayed in my comfort zone. Remember, every change brings a chance to grow. Don't fear it, lean into it. Rule number 4. Find gratitude in the small things. Gratitude is the secret sauce of a happy life. It's not about having everything you want, but appreciating what you have. I remember one summer when money was especially tight. We couldn't afford a vacation, so we set up a tent in the backyard and called it Camp Suzie. We roasted marshmallows, told stories, and laughed until our sides hurt. It turned out to be one of the best summers of my life. No matter where you are or what you have, there's always something to be grateful for. Focus on those little blessings, they add up to a life well lived. Rule number 5. Work hard, but don't forget to rest. There's honor in hard work, but there's also wisdom in knowing when to rest. When I was a young mother, I tried to do it all. Raise the kids, keep the house spotless, and even bake cookies from scratch every week. One day I collapsed in exhaustion and Tom sat me down. "Susie," he said, "you can't pour from an empty cup." That moment changed me. I learned to balance effort with rest, knowing that taking care of myself was just as important as taking care of everyone else. Work hard, yes, but don't forget to breathe. Rule number 6. Listen more than you speak. This one took me a while to learn. I used to think I had to have all the answers to fix every problem with my words. But over time, I realized that sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is your silence and your ears. When my sister Carol went through a difficult time, I wanted so badly to offer advice. But instead, I just sat with her, letting her talk. And do you know what? That's all she needed. She told me later that my listening had been more comforting than any advice I could have given. So remember, listening is an act of love. Rule number 7. Face your fears. Fear is a funny thing. It has a way of holding you back, keeping you stuck in place. But here's the thing. Most of the time, the things we're afraid of aren't as scary as we think. I used to be terrified of public speaking, but one day, I was asked to share my story at a church event. I wanted to say no, but something inside me said, "Do it scared." So I did. And do you know what? It wasn't perfect, but it was real and people appreciated it. Whatever you're afraid of, face it head on. You're stronger than you think. Rule number 8. Value relationships over things. At the end of your life, you won't remember the car you drove or the clothes you wore. You'll remember the people who loved you and the moments you shared with them. When my dear friend Maria passed away, I didn't think about the gifts she'd given me over the years. I thought about the long talks we had over tea, the way she laughed, and the warmth of her hugs. Invest in your relationships. They're the true treasures of life. Rule number 9. Never stop learning. No matter how old you are, there's always more to learn. Whether it's a new skill, a new perspective, or a new way of doing things, learning keeps you young at heart. When I was in my 60s, I decided to take a pottery class. I wasn't very good at it, but I had so much fun. It reminded me that trying something new isn't about being perfect. It's about growing and enjoying the process. Stay curious, my dears. Life is full of lessons if you're willing to learn. Rule number 10. Live with love and faith. Last but not least, live with love and faith. Love the people around you, love yourself, and have faith in the goodness of life. I've faced my share of hardships, but my faith has always carried me through. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that even in the hardest moments, there's a purpose. When you live with love and faith, you create a life that's rich, meaningful, and full of joy. Final thought. So there you have it, my dear ones, 10 rules for a life well lived. They're not about perfection or getting it all right. They're about living with intention, kindness, and an open heart. I hope these lessons, drawn from my own journey, resonate with you and help you on your own path. Remember, life is a beautiful gift. Embrace it fully, love deeply, and never stop growing. With all my love, Grandma Suzie. Thank you, my dears, for spending this time with me. Remember, life's journey is better when we walk it together. If these stories and reflections warmed your heart, be sure to subscribe and join me for more wisdom, comfort, and a little sprinkle of joy. Together, let's keep growing one story at a time. Until next time, stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, you're never alone. Grandma loves you.